1079 CDY. It's Cadillac's hit music station. We're going to pause the music for about 30 minutes and bring you a half hour's worth of local chat. It is Cadillac Unscripted. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. My co-host, Katy Huckle, is here. And just a few short hours ago, Katy, the long-awaited spring of 2021 arrived.
Yes.
We have been waiting for this. We have signs that things are going to open up again.
We do.
That 2021 is going to be so much better than 2020.
I have not seen you this happy, P.S., in a year. I'm not kidding.
Well,
this smiley.
I think everyone's kind of feeling that way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Spring is
kind of that zippity-doo-dah.
Well, it's the season of new beginnings. Mm-hmm. It's the season of spring cleaning. It's the season of, well, you know what? It's the season of Habitat for Humanity.
Absolutely, and they're here with us this morning. We have Amy and Ben. Amy is the executive director for Habitat for Humanity. Ben is a right-hand guy who runs the Restore for Habitat for Humanity, which is really an important part of the nonprofit. So, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us what's going on, Amy.
Well, we've had so much happening this past year. It's just been, like Rich mentioned, a crazy year for all of us.
Yes.
One thing that I have learned during this past year is that safe and affordable housing is key to everybody. If we did not have safe and affordable housing this year, we maybe wouldn't have been able to do our work because we all worked from home. A lot of people worked from home. A lot of people had students at home. Mm-hmm. A lot of people had their gyms at home. So if we think about safe and affordable housing and how important it is, like, that's right up our alley. So
wow, you kind of made my mind go wow, because people talked about their staycations too, and that all happened in your house. Your house became your nest.
It did, and if you didn't have a house to do that in, just think of how different it could be.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So what do you need from the community right now? It's a big question, but how can the community support you right now?
Well, we can be supported in lots of ways. We are starting to ramp up our volunteer base again. We are getting people into the house. We have our house that we're working on, our next partner family house. So that is a rehab. During COVID, we were able to repurchase a past partner family's home because she was moving out of the area. And so we have chosen our next family for that home.
Great.
And we are doing a rehab. So that is something. We have a lot of painting. So if there's anybody who loves to paint, come spring, we're going to be doing some outdoor projects. This family has an autistic son, so they need some certain things done in the backyard to make it safe. So he has some space to roam, but not roam too far.
Right.
We're going to be fencing in the yard and doing some outdoor type things. So that's going to be fun and exciting. We have a Restore that is, because of COVID, a little bit low on items. And so when you guys are doing your spring cleaning, we would just really love to have you give us a call. We'll talk more about later how we can do that, but that's another huge need we have right now. All those funds from the Restore go towards building safe and affordable housing. So, you know, you're donating your items, but you're also helping further down the road.
Absolutely. That's just a wonderful recycling project you got going on.
Right.
In terms of fundraising, you remained stable through this. How did that happen?
Yeah, we were so lucky because we were able, this community and all over the place, there was just so many grants available that we could write and we could ask for. So grants have helped us, some of that SBA funding, we were able to get some of that. So that helped us. We had about 2.5 months of actual shutdown in the Restore. And so that's profits that normally would go towards building. So we had to try and make that up. And we did a lot of that with grant writing. There were so many out there. You just had to look. You had to read the grants. You had to be specific. And so it really has helped us this year. Kind of hard to figure out what our budget will be next year because we don't know what will be going on at that point. So
were you scrambling?
We were scrambling. I think everyone was at one time. I remember back when the 6 weeks when we were at home, that was a point where I was in a bubble of not able to get to any meetings and talk to other affiliates. So we did a lot of Zoom. We all know that.
Right.
And at that time, there was so much uncertainty when I think back a year ago as to what we were living in. And it was really a fear, not only just for the organization, but personally. So it was nice to to have that collaboration with other affiliates. We have such a great base of, Habitat International and Habitat of Michigan. So we really all just stayed in touch on different policies. We shared, we tried to help each other through that period. So, and there was grants available through a lot of that collaboration.
Okay. So the normal fundraisers had to be reworked, as we know. We had you on the show to talk about that.
Right.
And then when we couldn't get to those numbers with traditional fundraising because you couldn't do it, the grants came into play. So if you could fast forward, will you be still looking at grants now in the future and your traditional fundraising when things settle down with COVID?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, why would you not?
Okay.
I mean, people want to help. I have seen so much support, not only just, the person calling and saying, what can I do, but organizations. I've received calls from DTE Energy and Consumers Energy saying, we have funds. Will you apply for this grant? I'm like, sure. Where do I go? So they have walked me through that process. And, a lot of these organizations just were not able to do a lot of their funding the traditional way and didn't want to lose it. So reached out, and we appreciated that.
Mm-hmm. Did any of your families, did you have to do any takeaways from your families? Did you have to cancel things?
Cancel events or
builds or projects?
So, we were lucky. We did not have to cancel any of our builds or projects we had, but we had to do them differently.
I see.
So we just had to, we just closed on our last home. It was so exciting in February. And instead of us doing the traditional tour of the house, I had Brinks Framing do a big print of what the house looks like. We had it on a stand outside. It was kind of a cold day, but we did our home blessing outside. Big B supported us with some coffee and hot chocolate for everybody, and Annie's gave us some treats for all the people who were there. And it's just so easy when you have a community that supports you. And
awesome.
We had a great day and it was fun. We actually closed down the restore an hour early so that all the employees could come and see what that was like, because they work every day, but they may not know why. So they were able to see what that hard work does for somebody.
And especially during an isolated time, I think people needed that.
Oh, they did.
But wind in their sails.
Yep. It was just a great event. So so we just had to change a little bit of how we've done things. We've still kept everything on the slate. We don't want to lose our spots for fundraising. We don't want to, we'll just, we had a pause and now we're ready to ramp it up again.
It sounds that way.
Back to the grants. Did you find that there were more grants available because of COVID-19, or are these just ones that you hadn't investigated before and they were opportunities for you?
Well, that's a good question, Rich, because if you remember, I have only been in the position about a year and a half. So when I came on board, there was not any grant income.
Okay.
Wow.
So I've told my board, it's a great thing. I think this is awesome. We can get all these grants because no one asked before, but I don't know if it was because few of them were specific COVID related. I have a couple, maybe 3 that were specific, had to be used because of COVID funds or, PPE or different things like that. But for the most part, they have not been designated grants due to COVID. They've just been grants that are available. And, if you look, you find. So that's what I'm doing.
And it's interesting, we always talk about this at the CTC. So many kids don't apply for scholarships. Mm-hmm. There's money out there that the kids don't apply for, and it sounds like it's the same for grants too. Is it? Yeah.
There's one in particular that Amy mentioned when she came in this morning. And can you tell us about the Women's Empowerment Grant that you...
Yeah, so it's called a Women Build Grant. This is our second year we have received it. It
Awesome.
comes through Habitat International has a collaboration with Lowe's. Okay. And so Lowe's chooses the people that they give the affiliates they give these grants to. And it's supposed to, if last year our last big hurrah was our Women Build event we did March 7th before everything shut down. That was part of that grant that we got for last year. So we had a big event. We had a lot of people. We invited the mayor of Cadillac and we invited all kinds of people to come out, and we were down at the market and we built a shed for our homeowner, and we just had a really great day. Well, this year they're when we applied for the grant, we were told things were a little bit different. No Lowe's heroes would be able to come to the event, no volunteers, so we have to do it all virtually. So it was just a great week of a Women Build Week, and we appreciate Lowe's giving us some funds to help, which will help our next partner family, which is right here in Cadillac, and we will be working to do some safe and secure things for her in her backyard. She has an autistic son, so we want to just make sure that he's able to play out there safely, and we'll have some fencing and different things that we will do with that grant. So thank you to Lowe's.
Now, yes, thank you to Lowe's. I have a question. Personal question. Do you personally start throwing a hammer around? I got to know the answer to this. Are you building?
I am going to give you the answer I have to give you, which is no, because I am not allowed. Our workers' comp policy does not allow paid staff to
wink,
work on the site.
Rich. That's a wink.
I end up getting all the great volunteers there. Okay. I feed them. Mm-hmm. I make sure that we have all the supplies that are needed and set up the events. So
I want a picture of Amy in a hard hat. I have known her for over 20 years. I'm just saying.
Well, you can have that picture. Look at all these guys who have never used a shovel in their life when they're at the
and they're in suits.
Things. Shoveling in suits.
Can I come out and get? No,
absolutely.
I want to be. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll have a hard hat waiting for you, Katy.
Thank you. All right. Well, you've got so much going on, and hats off to the organization for rising above. It feels like you guys got better during this.
We did. We just, I feel so fortunate that not only were we able to excel in all of this, but we did it on paper, but we also did everything we had planned for our families. Mm-hmm. I mean, we did several A Brush with Kindness projects where we go out and do different outdoor type fix-ups for people, whether we build ramps, put in new doors, windows, things like that. So we were able to stay on task and stay on schedule with helping people as much as we could as well.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's time for us to talk to Ben.
Actually, I think maybe we should take a break and then dedicate the second segment to Ben.
Okay, so while we're on break, I want you to be thinking about, Rich, what you need to get rid of in your house.
Oh, God.
So we'll be right back with more of Cadillac Unscripted in just a minute.
And welcome to part 2 of Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY, sponsored by Independent Bank. Our guests this morning on this first day of spring, Amy Gibbs, Executive Director of the Wexford Osceola Habitat for Humanity, and Ben Banks, who is the manager of the local Habitat Restore. And there's a lot of spring cleaning that needs to go on. We were just talking during the break about how most everyone has 2 years worth of accumulation at their house, right?
Well, good point.
Yeah.
I mean, good point. And what makes Habitat unique is they will come to you. Mm-hmm. So you can actually call Ben. He's running the Restore. Now, who doesn't trust a guy named Ben Banks
right.
to come to your house?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm talking to the guy. He looks very trustworthy. But anyway, you can call Ben. You can leave your stuff out. You can have them come however you want it. And they've got this big truck, and they load it up with your stuff, and off they go. Is that right, Ben?
That is correct.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's super convenient because I would imagine if you give people a second opportunity to think about whether or not they want to keep it or get rid of it, sometimes they reconsider.
Yes, I believe that to be true. Okay. I think a lot of folks get the courage to do it, clean up and get some stuff out of their house. And if it's not picked up in a timely manner, gives them a little time to rethink those decisions. So.
I'm telling you, it's so true. I mean, I was talking to a buddy, Ben, and she explained to me, I have a hard enough time parting with things. But then loading the things up into my vehicle and bringing them somewhere and unloading them, that just gives me an excuse not to do it at all. And so you're going to break that pattern with what you're doing.
We're going to try. Yep, for sure. Yeah.
So tell me how it works. I call you on a Thursday and I say, Ben, today at 5:00, I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff out, or tomorrow. Do you just have a schedule? Is that what you do?
Yeah, I fill a weekly schedule. We usually run the truck Tuesday through Friday in our peak seasons.
Okay.
And how that works, if you call on a Thursday, you're going to definitely see us the week after.
Okay, good.
We'll already be booked up. That previous week will be gone. If you call early in the week, there's a good chance I'm there in a day or two. We're really trying to get the turnaround and get the stuff in. Coming off a weird year with COVID, our donations are down a little bit.
Okay.
So at this point in time, being the first day of spring, we're really looking to bolster that up.
Mm-hmm. So if I've never been to the Restore, so shame on me, but what types of things, people come in probably some people probably frequently looking for things because you never know. It's like a new store every day. What are they looking for?
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
We sell a lot of furniture, a lot of appliances.
Really?
It's seasonal. If it's something that pertains to a certain season,
Right.
And we have it available, those items go fast.
Like a grill.
Yeah, grill in the summer, sure. Sleds in the winter, that type of thing. And a lot of folks think at a restore, they think maybe used or beat up stuff, but our selection is phenomenal. We're continually told that we have one of the nicer stores in the area as far as restore.
Bravo.
Resale. Yeah, we take
a
pride
nice
in
compliment.
that. We also offer customer service that you just don't see anymore.
Okay.
We like to greet everybody and ask them how they're doing, kind of get into their day for a minute and see if we can help them out, and then we go that way, you know.
Right.
Yep.
Do you ever have retailers call you with extra stuff that they don't?
Sure. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's a couple local retailers that if there's extras and doesn't fit into their plans, they come to us.
Who determines the pricing on these items?
I do.
Oh, you better be nice to him. Wow.
I'm sure
Really?
you look around at what's charged.
Yeah, Google. I'm on my phone Googling a few hours a day. So I Google what a fair market price is for something, and then you look at wear and tear and just try to be fair. Our biggest thing we can do with pricing is making sure it's in a spot where someone feels they did all right when they left, because I want them to come back.
Right.
That return business is what keeps us going.
That's great. You know, in metropolitan areas, and I've got girlfriends that are telling me about this, there's something that you do where you say, my KitchenAid mixer, I don't use it anymore, here's a picture of it, and then all the neighbors start fighting for it. You do it within a rate. And I thought to myself, you don't need that if we have you guys. You know, I don't need to have everybody over to look at my mixer.
No. Donate it, and we'll kindly take it and get her back in use for someone else.
Yes. You know, I think that's the best part about it, is you could take it to the dump, or you could, you know, set it out in the backyard. I mean, if you give this stuff away, someone's going to use it, Rich, and the money is going to go to the bottom line of what they're trying to do, which is put people and keep people in houses.
Do you have a template that you follow with other Habitat stores where they make suggestions, put this over on the left and that on the right and that in the back? Or
the merchandising.
Is that all? Is that
there
all
is
up to
a
you?
little bit to that, but our store is unique in the way that we like to offer different experiences. So we kind of move the store around, seasonal, if you will. And in the main room, I try to bounce around every 2 weeks. So people that are coming back don't feel like it's the same experience. They come in, and people notice that. They're like, oh, the room's completely different, and they thank you for that. They're ultimately, you know, they see the work you're putting in.
So what's the most popular thing that somebody asks for when they come walking? What's the number one? Okay, yay,
that would have to vary by season, I would think.
Well,
It does. I can tell you right now, the hottest items I've had in the last few months are washers, dryers, and exterior doors.
Really?
And I don't know if that's a COVID thing, that the main retailers aren't getting these things or not getting them in a timely manner, or if the prices are shooting up on some of this stuff. I know lumber's out of control right now.
We've heard from builders that we've had on the show that the prices of
Yeah,
that
so
are,
if I have a nice shaped door and it's in the $60 to $80 range and a new one's $300, they're glad to give me that $80 every time.
Well, and Ben, it's not just that. Remember when we had Matt Hamaker on the show, he told us 6 weeks sometimes do windows and doors and custom things like that.
Yes,
so,
the delays are horrible right now.
Right. See, there's another thing, Amy. All of a sudden, you guys become even more relevant. I love it. You know, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, and then you take opportunity and really roll up your sleeves and work hard, amazing things happen, which is what's happening to Habitat for Humanity.
So what's next? So beyond springtime for 2021, what's next for Restore? What's next for Habitat for Humanity?
In the Restore,
locally?
Rich, it's go time for us. Our summers are huge. It's not uncommon for me to unlock those doors at 10 a.m. and have 20 people waiting to get in. And I know there's other people that would love to have that business. So we really try to, our customer service, I preach to the team every day, you know, make sure everybody's having a good experience. Welcome them in and see what they need and make suggestions. If we don't have it, you know, try to get them in the right direction. So they feel that we're a trusted place to stop first. That's where I'm trying to get and offer as close to retail a situation as I can be, you know, a nice clean storefront and plenty of service. And it seems to be working out pretty well for us. So
what do you love best about your job, Ben?
Every day is different. You don't know what you're getting
like
in.
it.
I tell you, I got a great job. the hours fit me real well as for my home life. And then every day being different, you don't know who's coming through that door. You don't know what's coming in the door. And to get some of that stuff, we get some pretty cool items and one-of-kind things. And we try to find those and put them with their rightful owner. It seems to me, I can tell when it's a good fit on some of that stuff, and it just feels good. I never leave that store in a bad mood. It's a pretty great place to be,
Do your buyers become donors?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Sure.
They come in and
Yep.
they're like, well, I might have a couple things that I'm not using, or I might switch this out.
It is not uncommon for my first 6-8 people in the store. They're traveling 30 and 40 miles. We ask them where they're from, and a lot of these folks are through word of mouth, or maybe caught an ad or something, or had an aunt or an uncle or a family member that had a good experience with us. On their suggestion, they come and check us out. The other day I had a deal where it was West Branch, Manistee, and Traverse City were my first 3 customers, and we were their sole purpose for coming here, so we're doing something right.
How do
Oh,
they
my.
find out that you might have what they need
Well,
coming from that significant of a distance?
we don't mind taking a phone call, and if we have it, and we encourage people to call if you're traveling, and we have that ability to help you out. And then the other part is, if you're doing something right and they're telling people that are willing to travel, it's magical some days, I guess.
That's awesome.
I think you're very consistent, too. And it sounds like the store is clean.
Yes, very clean. I'm one of those persons that think if you have a bad experience somewhere, you're less likely to go back there. And so I don't want any one of my customers to come into that store and have a bad experience. So we try to offer the best stop that they can get. And it's not always going to be a perfect stop for them, but if we can help them, like I said before, we try to get them in the right direction. So
Ben, what happens if too much stuff comes in? Because I have a feeling that might happen.
I could only hope so. That's not a
That'd
problem.
be a great problem. to
Well,
have,
okay,
wouldn't
hold on. You're sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. As much as the area can throw at us, we'll gladly take it.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm throwing out a challenge on that one.
Square footage. How much square foot do you have in terms
I
of
think
space?
the main storefront, our main building is just about 11,000 feet.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big building.
Yeah.
We should mention what we don't take. There's only
Oh,
2 items.
okay.
All right.
What don't you take?
So yes, what are the prohibited?
The big ones are any bedding. We'll take the bed frames, but the mattress and the box spring is kind of a no-no.
Okay.
And then old TVs, we try to shy away from that. And everything else we come across, we do our best to inform those people where you can get rid of it. But those are the 2 biggest ones that we run into. People, I got a 300-pound TV in my basement. Would you like it? No, I would not.
No one would like it.
Nobody
That's
wants
the problem. Who wants an old TV?
Well, one of those gigantic console TVs. That
That's
used
the
to
ones
sit on
I'm
the floor.
talking about, Rich.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. If
Yeah.
people want to hang their TVs on the walls, Rich, that's what they
Would be
want to
you
do.
can now.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's very good to know, because there are a lot of old TVs out there that are still in working order, but if they aren't flat screen and they aren't new style, they really aren't of much use.
There's an expense to get rid of them
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh,
and
that's
people
part
are
of it.
finding, anymore that's just not easy to leave them by the side of the road, because I don't even know if the garbage will pick them up anymore.
Right.
The garbage guy says no. So there's a problem with that. But other than that, anything household worthy, we try to put our hands on it and reconnect it with a new owner. So
Awesome. So, question for Amy. I love asking nonprofit directors this question because you're working on your mission every day, but in the back of your mind, and you do know this woman's an accountant, so for sure in the back of her mind, there's this money thing. Do we have enough money? Are we going to get enough money, to remain solvent? But you're also a big cash reserve person for the organization. If money were no object, where would you take Habitat for Humanity?
Wow, you didn't give me the idea that I needed to prep for this one, Katy.
Is it more houses for people?
I would love to do more houses for people. As I look at, we have 2 counties. We have Wexford and Osceola County that we serve. And right now we only do 1 house per county per year. So if we could do a house in each county each year, that would be awesome. I'd love to get into the priority home repair
Yes.
field, because that is a new up and coming where we're trying to keep people in their homes. And so many homes have some major damage that we don't do. I get calls like 2 to 3 times a week, like I have a roof that's leaking, or I have a floor that my foot fell through and I need some help. Well, we don't do those right now with our regular Brush with Kindness projects because they're just a smaller type project. But there are funds available for these priority home repairs. That'd be something I'd love to get into. Okay. That's a little bit, we got to work through the details on that, figuring out, how we have somebody repay that if they do. Because most of our things that we do require repayment of some form. Whether it's 0% interest, it's paying it forward for the next person.
And Amy, that's called skin in the game.
Yep.
I think most of our listeners would say that's responsible behavior.
Right. Yeah. Even our homes, the homeowner has a mortgage. It's a 0% mortgage. They put in some sweat equity. They go through some training classes for about a year, but we do not give it away. We are a hand up, not a handout.
Oh, I love it. That gave me the chills.
You were just talking about the county by county situation. Do you alternate one year to the next, or does it one house in Wexford, one house in Osceola year to year, or does it just end up being where the lot happens to be?
Well, we look at the need. So we look at where the applications come from. We look at what we have available we have a few lots in Wexford County. We have a home that is rented in Osceola County. So we just look at what the need is at the time from the applications that have come in. So we now send all of our applicants that call us for a house through financial coaching at Habitat Michigan. And they, when we're ready to pick our next family, we go through them.
Okay.
Wow. So they send us someone
They've
who's
done
ready.
the homework. Question. How many people, so tennis balls back and forth, Osceola County, Wexford County, kind of based on the need, or kind of like that. How many people are applying? You can only pick one. How many people are applying per time, ballpark?
So when we did our open enrollment last time, which was pre-COVID, we had 18 applications that people brought in that all would have been in some way, shape, or form qualified a way. When it got down to the final numbers, we had 2 very qualified people that we chose from, and we did interviews on those, and that's how that worked out. But yeah, I get calls I had a call at 3:30 today as I was walking out of the office, somebody who is in Wexford County who needs a house. I had a call yesterday from a woman and her children who are renting, and they need a place. And it's just like every day you get a call, whether it's for a repair or a new home, and it's hard to not be able to provide it every time, but it is a process.
Okay, so if a bunch of money, if someone wrote a big check, you might be able to do more. I mean,
absolutely.
Okay.
We would love to do more. I'd put it together any way I needed to.
Has there been an instance, Amy, before where, obviously with each new window that opens up, you have new applicants, but has there been a situation before where you've gone back and you have awarded it to an applicant from before because that applicant was so good?
Yeah. So last, I know before I was on board, there was almost a tie with the 2 applications that we had. So we did reach back out to that person, and at that point they were going down a different avenue. So if we do have a good applicant who we feel, is in the right place, we will follow up with them. We may not always. So always I would tell people apply again.
Yeah, always apply again.
Yeah, always apply again.
But they do kind of stay, the name stays in the hat.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't go through all the old applications, but if someone
really was at the top,
yeah, then we would definitely keep them up there. I do want to say one thank you to Ben and his staff at the Restore, because he would never say this, but he gets people that come into the Restore all the time and thank him and say, this is the best experience I've had. Last week, they actually had someone who delivered pizza and pop because she said to them, this was my favorite stop of the weekend for shopping. So I just wanted to thank you guys for what you do. But this happens quite often. So they just really try to connect with the customers and, do a good job. So thank you to the Restore and all the staff that Ben leads every day.
Yeah, sounds like we got to get over there.
We do.
Get over there, and we got to get rid of some things too. Let's make a pact.
It's been a minute since I've been there, so it's time to spring clean.
Yes.
And redecorate.
I'm in. I love this idea of both, especially the redecorate idea. Always. Anyway, Amy Gibbs, Ben Banks, you're doing important work in the community, and we're so thankful for that.
Well, and I thank you guys having me come back and tell my story, new story every day. So thanks to you guys for your support as well.
She's one of our frequent flyers on the show.
Yes. Yeah, but we've got to keep a running tab, but I think Amy's very close to the top, if not tied for the top.
I think
I like it.
And we got to bring her back because you never know what she's going to do next.
You never know.
You know what I say? Don't bet against her.
That's right.
Thank you so much for your time. Happy spring.
Thank
Cleaning.
you.
Cadillac Unscripted is sponsored by Independent Bank. Join us next week, same time, same station, for some more local chat on 107.9 CDY.